I think it's going to be a very big change for Hong Kong and a great opportunity for Hong Kong. And I'm glad that the central government has such determination to push the Greater Bay Area. I think with any issues, we've got to look back in history. And for Hong Kong's first wave of development back in the early 70s and 80s, it was Mr. Deng Xiaoping's effort of reform and open up. And with that policy, we see the integration of Hong Kong into the Guangdong area. Namely using us as international hub and also as design and also professional services to help the Guangdong area to develop. And in my view, I think now within the past 5-6 years, with the announcement of the Greater Bay Area Initiative, I think it gives Hong Kong and also different cities in the mainland a new feel and also direction for development. I think for Hong Kong it's very clear. Hong Kong, it's a small city. We have a lot of limitations. We only have 7 million people. But with the GBA initiative, we are looking at a gross population of more than tenfold, which is 70 million. So it automatically gives us a much broader marketplace to work from. And secondly, when we talk about Greater Bay Area, we talk about Hong Kong, we talk about Shenzhen, we talk about Guangzhou. But the reality is Greater Bay Area covers much more landmass and cities than that. And what we've seen in the past, I guess, 20 years of development in Guangdong, it's quite dispersed. Actually, there's a lot of diverse and also inequalities in development within the different cities in the Greater Bay Area. So by having a unity and also policies that would stimulate the whole area of 9 + 2 cities, I think it will give the whole of this area of the Pearl River Delta a much more equal development path. And this it's not just about numbers, it's all about really 1 + 1 greater than 2. By having a very objective view on what each city should specialize in, you avoid the problem of overlapping, everyone doing the same thing. So in Hong Kong, it's very clear. We have to focus on finance, we have to focus on IT and tech. This will give us a new edge in our so-called before, maybe it's a too simplistic economy structure. So I think I'm glad and I'm happy that the government has repeatedly said the importance of Hong Kong being integrated into the Greater Bay Area. But I think it's time for us to think about how we could do this more efficiently and effectively, and especially to benefit young people of Hong Kong. I would say this, the answer is yes, Hong Kong can still remain an international finance center. This is what we build on. Put the politics aside first. We have the talent, we have the infrastructure, we have the know-how, and we have the way of life to back up the international finance center, this stature we have. But secondly, what has changed is the global political landscape has changed greatly from, say, when we first returned to the mainland. The brute reality is that there is a diverse, or there's forces at play to fight against the rise of our country in China on many fronts, led by US and other forces. As you mentioned, many threats were made, not just the mainland, such as trade wars and all this, but also Hong Kong as a status or as an international city. But how I would respond is, we are now returned to the mainland for 25 years. We have to prioritize. We have to advance and proceed based on the best interests of our country as a whole. National security becomes the greatest issue of them all. How to not let Hong Kong become the loophole other people can use to, put pressure or even have a negative impact on our country as a whole. So moving forward, I think this is the priority for us to think about. But secondly, it's also important for us not to fear, because if we fear sanctions and these statements or even law enactment outside our control, then we'll always be used as a bait, always be used as a pawn in this bigger game of chess. So I think we have to have the self-confidence as well that mainland China or Beijing will definitely also seek the best interest for Hong Kong moving forward. And thirdly, I think we should also be more proactive into liaising more new friends. Okay, the world is huge, the world is large, the marketplace is big. It's not just the US market, it's not just the Europe market, or so-called traditional, traditional powers. So I think with the Belt and Road Initiative and all these, multilateral connections that we are making in terms of economic pacts or even cultural exchanges, I think Hong Kong should be more proactive and walk in front in making friends with more nations, more people. There are a lot of emerging markets, right? In Asia, Southeast Asia, and all these places, even the Middle East, and over Central Asia. These are untapped resources that could help our country, could help Hong Kong. And I think, two things: be confident in ourselves, and secondly, be out there and step out of your comfort zone and make connections and make friends. I'm sure it'll be beneficial for the next 20, 30 years to come.